By the name of Allah, who is kind and merciful. In this lecture we will discuss the global warming, its causes, effects, and remedies. So please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Now let's start. First, we will define the global warming. So the average increase in the temperature of atmosphere near the Earth's surface and in the troposphere which cause changes in global climate patterns is called global warming. Global warming is the increase in the average temperature of the atmosphere near the Earth's surface due to the greenhouse effect of greenhouse gases which traps the reflected sun rays from the earth under it and cause the warming of the atmosphere. There are various causes of global warming including both natural and anthropogenic. Scientific evidence indicates that since 1950s, the global climate has been warming as a result of emissions from non-stop burning of fossil fuels. So, non-stop burning of fossil fuel is the main cause of global warming. Now, causes of global warming. So, the first and foremost cause of global warming is deforestation. Deforestation refers to the cutting of trees and forests. Trees play a significant role in global carbon cycle. They are the largest land-based mechanism for removing carbon dioxide from the air. Deforestation is checking these positive processes. It is the second principal cause of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Deforestation is responsible for 25% of all carbon emission entering the atmosphere by the burning and cutting of 34 million acres of trees each year. Every day, over 5,500 acres of rainforest are destroyed. As a consequence of massive loss of forests, global carbon levels rise approximately 0.4% each year, the levels not experienced on this planet for millions of years. The second main cause of global warming is population growth. There is a close relation between global warming and population growth. Today, the large population on Earth is using the technologies which are destructive for the Earth. Approximately 80% of atmospheric CO2 increase are due to man's use of fossil fuels in the form of coal, gas, or oil. A large portion of carbon emissions is attributed to the burning of gasoline in internal combustion engines of vehicles. Vehicles with poor gas mileage contribute the most to the global warming. The third main cause of global warming is mining. Mining for coal and oil release methane in the atmosphere. Moreover, the leakage from natural gas fields and landfills are additional source of methane. Another source of methane is methane chloride, a compound containing large amounts of methane trapped in the crystal structure of ice. As methane escapes from the Arctic seabeds, the rate of global warming increases significantly. So, mining is also a big cause of global warming. The fourth major cause is nitrous oxide. The nitrous oxides form fertilizers, gases used for refrigeration, and industrial processes are other factors that cannot be forgotten as the cause of global warming. The fifth cause is reflection of sunlight from glaciers and ice caps. Ice caps and glaciers reflect sunlight, bouncing high temperature sunrays back into the space away from the earth. When these ice caps are removed, the earth gets warmer as the dark oceans absorb much thermal radiation from the sun. The the sixth major cause of global warming is chlorofluorocarbons, uh, commonly known as CFCs emission. There is strong evidence that emissions of chlorofluorocarbons were the major cause of the recent abnormal warming. Like carbon, CFC do not trap heat, but in the presence of ultraviolet rays, the chlorine gets detached from CFC, drifts up into the stratosphere, and these unattached chlorine catalytically convert ozone molecules into oxygen molecules, depleting the ozone layer, which is very dangerous for human health. When the ozone layer is depleted, a hole is formed in the ozone layer which allows very harmful sun rays to reach the earth and have a very contagious effect on human health, commonly cause skin cancer. Now let's move forward. These are the causes of global warming. Now let's discuss the effects of global warming. So the major effects of global warming are here in front of you. So the first major effect of global warming is the acidification of the oceans due to higher levels of CO2 or carbon dioxide. Higher level of carbon dioxide causes the acidification of the oceans. According to a WWF report on coral reefs, coral population will collapse by 2100 or at the end of 21st century due to increased temperatures and ocean acidification. The second major effect of global warming is climate change. Climate change refers to the change in the weather patterns of the world. The climate change are seen worldwide. Exceptional warm summers are another effect of global warming, and Europe and America have already witnessed these changes considerably. The third major effect of global warming is occurrence of cyclones, typhoons, and storms. Scientists are struggling to predict how the heat building in the seas and atmosphere will affect, rather increase the strength and intensity and occurrence of the cyclones, typhoons, and storms, which results in floods and destruction of human population and loss of economy. The fourth major effect of global warming is the increased incidence of Lyme disease, dengue, and malaria. Global warming might cause increased incidence of Lyme disease, dengue fever, and malaria because the mosquitoes, the transmitting agents of these diseases, require winter temperature of about 18 degrees centigrade for their survival. The fifth major effect of global warming is rise of sea level and increased floods. Due to the rise in temperature, the ice melts, which results in the rise of sea level, and which again results in floods and destruction of human economy and human loss. The sixth major effect is the depletion of ozone layer. The ozone layer keeps out the ultraviolet radiations from the sun that are harmful to life on Earth. Some man-made gases rise into the atmosphere and destroy the ozone layer. Therefore, global warming involves the pollution of the atmosphere, which in turn leads to the depletion of ozone layer. The global warming will delay the ozone recovery in Arctic regions, exposing the people to an ultraviolet dose which is relatively higher. The penetration of the more ultraviolet radiations from the sun to the earth poses threats to human life, skin cancer. And the seventh major cause of global warming is water stress. Water stress. What is water stress? Shortage of water. Predictions of water wars in Asia has already been made. Global warming is affecting the hydrological cycle and availability of fresh water. Variability in monsoons can lead to severe water stresses or water losses. And the eighth major effect of global warming is impact on mangroves. Pakistan hosts fifth largest mangrove plantation in the world. They act as carbon sinks, barriers against soil erosion due to sea waves, help in mitigating tsunami waves and cyclones, and provide a habitat to a large number of species. Climate change affects salt content and hence affecting flora and fauna also. And now let's move forward. The ninth major effect of global warming is food insecurity. The stress over water resources and the rising sea levels, when combined with increasing erratic rainfall, will have a direct impact on food security. It is estimated that a 2-degree rise in temperature will lead to 17% decrease in yield of crops. And the 10th major effect of global warming is death or human loss. Climate change is causing around 300,000 deaths every year in present scenario, which is expected to escalate to 500,000 by 2030. It will also lead to change in composition of atmosphere gases, change in hydrological cycle as well. So these were the major effects of global warming. There are some other effects, but these 10 are the major effects of global warming. Now, remedies or preventive measures to tackle the problem of global warming. There are some preventive measures to tackle this problem. The first preventive measure is to check pollution. Pollution of the atmosphere has to be checked, and anything related to the release of the greenhouse gases should be monitored, which can control global warming. The second remedy is reduction of wood burning. The burning of wood should be reduced to a greater extent as it releases oxidizable carbon to the atmosphere, the presence of which in greater amount causes the rise in temperature. LPG stoves can replace the firewood burning. Biogas plants can be encouraged in village units. Compositing will help to restore of biodegradable waste. The third major uh, remedy is ban on the use of CFCs. CFCs nowadays are banned. The use of CFCs is a major reason for depletion of the ozone layer and the resultant global warming, so CFCs should be banned internationally. And the fourth major remedy is use of fuel efficient cars, biofuels, etc. The discharge and exhaust from automobile also causes global warming. We could reduce it by identifying fuel-efficient cars, using biofuels, correcting the engine designs, or using an electric car or a hybrid car. When these principles are implemented, global warming can be reduced. The fifth remedy to reduce or avoid global warming is avoid energy wastage. Do not wasting energy at home. We can avoid to some extent the global warming. This includes shutting down the system when not in usage and also buying energy efficient equipment. Solar energy, wind energy, and hydroelectricity can be used that reduce the pollution of the atmosphere to a greater extent. The sixth major remedy is educating the masses. People should be reminded that they share the earth and its resources with the other species that keep the ecosystem at balance. So people should be educated to take preventive measures, to take steps in order to reduce the process of global warming. The seventh major remedy is balanced ecosystem. So people should be reminded that they share the earth and its resources with the other species that keep the ecosystem balanced. If the balance is gone, then the life of every single species is threatened and even humans will not be spared of this. The eighth major remedy is afforestation. Trees should be planted, more and more trees should be planted in order to balance the carbon cycle in the atmosphere, which has a direct positive effect in controlling the process of global warming. The ninth major remedy is the acceptance of international action plans. International community have taken several steps to counter global warming and climate changes. The major of them is the Kyoto Protocol adopted in 1997, which came to be known as the Kyoto Protocol. Other steps taken by global community to fight global warming are IPCC was formed in 1988 under UNEP and WMO, which now works in close coordination with UNFCCC or United Nations Framework on Climate United Nations Framework Conference on Climate Change. And Earth Summit 1992 was a legally binding convention specifically addressing the issue of climate change. So these are the international plans adopted by the international community. So these should be accepted by each and every member of the United Nations in order to counter the problem of global warming and climate change. And the tenth and the last remedy to tackle the problem of global warming is raise your voice. First, believe that global warming is not a myth and it is really happening. Most of the people you meet would argue that it is a global propaganda. Make them believe through above mentioned facts that global warming is real and spread awareness. Governments need to enact new laws that cap carbon emissions and require polluters to pay for the global warming gases that they produce. So these were the preventive measures for tackling the problem of global warming. So thank you for listening and watching the lecture.